Actually, during to talk to Honorable Helen, the Minister of Agriculture, talk about the impounded fish courtesy of Ivan Walinyolo. Ivan, take it away and good morning.
Well, thank you very much. And I am coming to you from the Directorate of Fisheries under the Minister of Agriculture and Animal Industry here in NTV. And of course, we know the ongoing story, especially regarding the impounded fish. Government of Uganda, through its security agencies and also other surveillance teams, impounded 4 trucks of immature fish allegedly heading to Congo. And there's been a friction, especially from the Kenyan side, when we have seen many protests at the border, when they're claiming that the fish that was going to Congo was mature, accusing Uganda of being behind the failure of their business. Apparently, many of course questions are still there, especially from the Kenyan side. But this beautiful morning, I am joined by the State Minister for Fisheries, Helen Adoa, to just make us understand the latest developments from the story. And a very good morning, Madam Helen Adoa, and welcome to NTV.
Good morning, NTV, and it is nice being with you this morning.
Make us understand. We have seen the protests from the Kenyan side at the border in Malaba, when they're accusing you of impounding their fish, which they call mature. And from the inspection point, I was here when you confirmed the fish was immature and illegal, and you have the trucks packed here.
Yes, we have the trucks, and no single fish is mature. All here is immature fish. And the people that are demonstrating at the border are not Kenyans. They are Ugandans who are trying to incite Kenyans to imagine that Kenyan vehicles have been impounded. There are Ugandan vehicles here with the number plates of Uganda, and the people who first claimed that these were their fish and vehicles are Ugandans. Now, I am told they are trying to send some Kenyans to claim. So we are waiting. Let Kenyans who are claiming to be the owners of the fish come and show us their documents, so that we see whether they are the owners of the fish. But also the first day when we impounded this fish, they didn't have licenses. And the drivers took off.
Minister, let me cut you short.
Up to now, the drivers are nowhere to be seen.
You addressed the media, if I remember some time back, about the same issue, and you said you have intelligence information about Ugandans who are smuggling fish through Kenya to other destinations. I remember the media center when you talked about it. Can I say you had intelligence information already?
Yes, I have been having intelligence, and I continue using my intelligence that there are Ugandans that smuggle fish from Lake Yoga, which is 100% Ugandan lake, and Lake Victoria, which is a shared lake. They take that fish to Kenya, repack it, put some bit of bales behind the truck from Lake Turkana or somewhere, so that when you open behind, you say this fish is from Lake Turkana. Let them go. When 80%, like this one, 80% of the fish who have impounded is from Lake Yoga, which is 100% Ugandan lake.
But Honorable Minister, if I still ask you, how did the fish pass the Busia border, where we know you have your teams, both from the Fisheries Protection Unit and the Ministry of Agriculture itself? It has the inspectors at the border. How did the trucks come through?
First of all, as I've said, smuggling means they smuggle. Now, of course, we have our fisheries inspectors at the border, and that is another story. But also, like any other, ministry, these things always happen. You may not be able to be 100% accurate, keeping every second, keeping in the border. That's why I call it smuggling. They smuggle. So these things happen. It's like, where were you when so and so is being killed? No. These things happen, and these people have been doing it for long, conniving with the people who should be able to inspect.
Can I say you are investigating maybe some of your own, perhaps, if you are investigating who could have been behind this, because the information we have is that the trucks were not only 4, there are many others.
There are many, even right now, there are over 15 hiding somewhere within Uganda because they had cleared them from the border, and the majority of these vehicles carry mature fish. So whether they are hiding, whether they want to hide for how long, we are going to catch them. At least we have called to 4, and we are looking for over 15 that are hiding somewhere. So if our technical people, together with conniving with the URA, to get, I would call bribes, to allow immature fish to be transported to Congo, to Tanzania, to where, we are not refusing any fish to be taken outside, but it should be mature fish. And also, we should not make it more commercial than the consumption within the country. The children need this food, this fish, we need this fish, but we shouldn't, the rich people shouldn't come and smuggle the fish from our lakes and then call them goods on transit. What will happen to a local man?
We had information that after you impounded the fish, the Kenyan embassy wrote to the government of Uganda, compelling in you as the directorate to unconditionally release the fish. Is this an interstate conflict?
I am not aware of any letter. I have not received any letter from my counterpart from Kenya. If they have written to the commissioner, they must have written for information, but not to write to us to release the vehicle. You cannot release the vehicles that are carrying immature fish. We have the law that mandates us to impound, because the law allows us, if you suspect whether there are goods on transit and we suspect there's something wrong in that vehicle, we have a right as fisheries to check. And indeed, when we checked, it's a lot of immature fish. There is a lot of, not even a lot of immature fish, all of it is immature fish. And when you look at it, as I said, 80% is from Lake Kyoga, and the other percentage is from Lake Victoria. Then very few from Turkana, which I said is used for covering the whole thing.
And the Honorable Minister, we also know it very well that in your operations, especially during these latest, interventions you've done, especially in fighting these illegalities here, as states you're working together. But if the Kenyan side, the Kenyan businessmen are thinking you're doing it wrong to impound the fish, and from the baker we've had last time when they refused our milk from going to Kenya, maize, don't you think to a common man it is going to seem like it's an interstate conflict?
No. We have no problem with Kenya. We, as government, we have no single problem. These are individuals who want to ride on the name of government. These are just some people who are smugglers who want to take advantage of governments, our government's relations. But there is no problem between us and Kenya, and Kenyans understand us, we understand them. Our own people who want to smuggle fish are the ones that are doing all this in order to be allowed to do what they wish. But we are not going to allow this, because whether we have 1 or 2 fish from Lake Turkana, what is very important is Ugandan vehicles are being used to transport immature fish, which is 80% Kyoga, and then the other percentage Lake Victoria. So basically, I want to lay the fears of our friends from Kenya that there is nothing wrong between Uganda and Kenya. What is very important is there is immature fish that has been arrested and impounded at the border of Imponde border, and we are not going to continue allowing people to play in this level. Immature fish is depleting our lakes. They are taking away the fish, and our children don't have what to eat, and this is done by some rich fellows.
Honorable Minister, we understand there is a delegation of the Kenyan, I don't know, officials who are to meet you. I don't know if they've met you. but you're also looking for the drivers and the owners of these illegal fish, because they have a case to answer in court. Update us, have you met them, and if you've met, what have you discussed? And if you haven't, what are the modalities you're going to discuss as a ministry, since you have the illegal fish and they have a case to answer in court?
I haven't got any communication of any officials coming from Kenya to meet me. What I got from our ambassador to Kenya is that an RDC at the Busia border is that the owners, the people who claim to be the owners of this fish, wanted to come. And I waited for them yesterday, I didn't see them. So there's no official that has communicated to me that they are coming.
What will happen if they come?
If they come, let them show their documentation and also show us the mature fish that they were carrying in the car. They have to show that this was the fish that we were carrying, these were the documents, and let them show that they are Kenyans and they have their documents and the fish is from Kenya. And then we shall discuss with them.
Are you not supposed to charge them in the courts of law since they're dealing in an illegality?
Definitely we shall. Already, for us to open the vehicles, we got permission from the court. The courts allowed us to open the vehicles because this is the law. If you suspect anything from a certain vehicle, get permission from court to open. And we got permission from court and we have opened, and they're immature fish. So let them come and show us. If they fail, already we are looking for the drivers, we are looking for the owners because they did it wrong. These people have to be tried. And any other, I want to send a warning. As long as I am a Minister of State for Fisheries, I am not going to allow illegalities like this. If they have been used to taking immature fish in the name of goods on transit, it must stop. I am not going to tolerate, I am not going to tolerate corruption, I am not going to tolerate bribes, I am not going to tolerate any fish which is sealed at the border and taken on transit. I am not.
The same fishermen have come out to complain often that the top government officials are the ones who are involved in these illegalities.
And if they, as I said, if the rich men, if the top people are the ones dealing in illegal fishing, we are going to arrest them. And I want to ask people out there to let me know any information concerning immature fish. Whether you are who and you deal in immature fish, we are not going to allow, because we are going to secure the future of our children and the children of those children. If our forefathers had used the lake the way we're using today, then I don't see whether we would be eating fish today.
Nearly 3 weeks you have the trucks and the fish here. What next for it?
Now we are going to follow the law. The law tells us to seek permission from court to verify what is there, which we have done. Now the next is we are going to wait for a duration of time which the law will allow us. If nobody has come to claim for the fish, we give the fish out to different, we take to prisons, we take to what. Now, also with the vehicles, if no one comes to claim, the law will guide us on what to do with the vehicles.
You have a bill before Parliament that will give you powers, if passed into law, to close the fishing, to hold the fishing activities on the lake if the fishermen do not comply to the set regulations. Do you think that bill partly will make you solve these illegalities?
First of all, I want to send this message to the fishers out there. If they continue illegally fishing, by December, I will have no choice but to close the lake, because we must have fish in the lake. Now, talking about the law, I am so happy that the law is in Parliament now. I have already introduced the law to the committee. Now, this week, the committee is meeting different stakeholders. After that, they will go out to consult with the different fishers, and then they will come back, go for a retreat, look page by page, and when they put together, we shall now bring it back to Parliament. Now, what we want to see, basically, in that law, because for the last, I don't know how many years, from 1964, there was no law, but there was, we have been operating with an Act of 211, especially about size 28, boat size 28, but remember there are some lakes that may not accommodate that. It's big for them, but at the same time, the water levels have increased. Now, what we want to do in this law, I want this law to be pro-poor fishermen. I want the poor fisherman to at least come up. Let this law empower that poor fisherman who has been suffering down there. He has no garden, the garden is the lake. He has children, he has to take them to school. I am not going to see a law which is going to empower rich people to completely deplete the lake and leave the poor people. We want to empower these poor people and regulate these byproducts like fish more. People should not go for swim bladder more than the fish. We need fish holidays, fishing holidays. We need to balance, especially, I want at the end of the day, a local fisherman should be blessed by this law so that he's able to be like any other person in this country.
Well, for time purposes, we'll leave it there, but Honorable Minister, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you so much, but once again, I want to send a message to our friends from Kenya, our government in Kenya. Please investigate. We don't have any problem with Kenya, and Kenyans are not the ones that were involved in this issue. It is Ugandan vehicles, Ugandan fish, and there is no cause of alarm. I thank you.
Well, that is the State Minister for Fisheries, Helen Adoa, just bringing us to speed and making us to more understand on the 4 trucks that were impounded from Kasese, having illegal fish, proceeded to Congo and now parked here at the directorate in Entebbe. Of course, they say they're still looking for the owners of the trucks, and also the pressure from the other side of Kenya when they are accusing Ugandan government for just failing their business. But she has been able to make clarifications on the matter. But Morning at NTV will this time return to the studio. A very good morning to you and our audience.